You used to feel desire, not just for sex, for life. You felt hungry, alive, excited by things, turned on by things. And now you love your partner, but sex feels like pressure. You miss feeling connected to yourself. Even the things that used to light you up don't fully land the same way anymore. And what most women don't realize is that this whole thing often starts with the way we were taught to relate to our bodies and sex. We were taught to override ourselves, to perform, to push through, and disconnect from sensation. And in today's episode, we're talking about why so many women feel disconnected from desire in midlife, what's actually happening in the female body, and why the very things that you were probably taught to create desire are often the exact things shutting it down. So Barbara, I remember when literally the day after my 50th birthday, I remember waking up and feeling like the color saturation was like turned down on everything in life. Like
Mm.
it's like I lost my turn on is kind of how I think of it now. But at the time I really noticed it actually. I was thinking about my sex life and I was like, wow, it's just not like it used to be. And I thought, well, I've been married a long time, maybe it's that. But then I didn't even enjoy like self-pleasure time. I didn't get turned on by the stuff that used to turn me on. And it wasn't just in the bedroom, right? Like it had moved to beyond the bedroom.
Yeah.
Um, and I thought, okay, what the fuck's going on? What's wrong with me? Is anyone else feeling this way? Is this just what happens in midlife? Like I started to ask all those questions. And I know you had a very similar experience. So, um, what's interesting is that I realize now that it didn't just happen that day. That was like the moment I noticed it because it was directly affecting my sex
Right.
life. And that felt like a wall that I hit. But it had been happening for a long time, right? It was like the slow thing. And I didn't know how much of it connected to the conditioning and the things we were taught about sex, about our bodies, about like what's expected of us as women. And that's what I want to get into because once you know the stuff that you and I know now, it changes everything, right? I want all the women watching this to know what we know now. So I'm going to start with this question for you, which is why do you think this experience is universal or almost universal? And why do you think it happens to so many women? Why do we wake up one day like, where did the color go?
Do you mean in midlife or
Yeah.
like, okay,
Yeah, I
so,
think it happens for most people in midlife, and we can talk about why midlife is that turning point.
okay.
Like, what's going
Oh,
on?
okay. So, first of all, I think it's even language because I'm like listening to you speak
Yeah.
and I'm like, when I got to that point, I wasn't using words like turned on and turned off, where it's
Yeah.
such that in itself is like so indicative, and it's there's so much clarity when you start to use that language. Like I never used that language until I got the education like that, and we didn't even have the language. We just, I feel like I knew something was wrong.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah.
Like, and it's like, that it's turn off, but you don't even have the phrase of like, wait, I'm just turned off by everything. I feel
Yeah.
dead inside. Like the
Yeah.
best way I could do it was like say that I felt dead inside. But turn on and desire are two different things. And I think it starts with like desire. So like there's a difference between desire and turn on. Like desire is it's yearning, it's a longing, it's like that quiet ache that lives in the mind and the body and the heart and the pussy. Like desire like flows through the whole body. It's like it can even flicker when a woman is feeling dead inside. Like the both of us, we still had that like sense of like something's wrong and I want something else,
Yeah.
right?
True.
And so it's like you could be shut down, numbed out, and disconnected from yourself and still have that desire. That's actually what is trying to bring you back to your turn on. So here's
Hmm.
the thing, turn on, it's not a thought, it's not even an emotion. It's like a full body event. It's like a full body. activation. It's the nervous system coming back online. It's like blood moving, skin waking up, like the nerve endings, something in the body saying yes,
Yeah.
or the mind can even catch up.
Right.
The absence of that activation is what like indicates to the desire like something's off. So you
Mm-hmm.
can desire from your head, but you can't turn on without having your body completely engaged in the turn on. So here's what happens to the body that doesn't turn on. When a woman spends her whole life being easy and agreeable and the good girl, it doesn't fade. It gets like trained out of her. It like
Mm-hmm.
becomes dormant, right? Like think of it this way, because turn on isn't psychological, it's somatic.
Yeah.
It lives in the nervous system, and the nervous system that hasn't been taught, like the nervous system that has been taught to comply and accommodate and shrink,
Yeah.
is not a nervous system that knows how to like ignite, doesn't know
Yeah.
how to, like that fire. It's like we were taught to turn off
Yeah.
before we were taught what turn on even was, even having that language.
Yeah.
So your body, your nervous system knows how to be still. It knows how to be agreeable. It is like molded into that. That's the conditioning, right?
Mhm.
How to make itself small enough to be loved,
Yeah.
but it doesn't know how to surge, right?
Yeah.
So a
Yes.
woman who has spent 20 years making herself smaller and likable and safer to be around, right? This like perfect, like, I don't even know what, um, has a body that has forgotten what it feels like to be switched on. So
Yeah.
she doesn't go cold. She got regulated out of her aliveness. And the
Yeah.
way back isn't like a date night. It's like slow. It's like the
Well,
slow
wait,
and
wait, wait. Before we even talk about the way back, because we're going to get into that too, I
yeah,
want to pause here because I think what you're saying is so accurate and so important and is part of what helped me recognize, like, okay, it's not something wrong with me. It's actually my body speaking the truth. And it's
yeah,
something to pay attention to, not to despair about or take hormones about, although hormones may be a thing. Just put that over there. But like it was this realization that my body is trying to tell me something. Like I used to feel that aliveness and that hunger and that like excitement, and I get
right.
goosebumps and I'd get tears and I'd get turned on and I'd get wet and I'd get all the things. And now it was like everything was like, okay. Like I wasn't unhappy. I wasn't like I was kind of numb. I was kind of disconnected. And the thing is, there was so much in my body. Like, as you're saying that, my body's like, yes, yes, exactly. It wasn't a mental thing because mentally, I could still list to you the things that I used to love that should turn me on, that would get me excited. But my body was like, nope, nope, that's not it. You're missing the memo.
It was your body. Like for me, it was like my body was like, it's the desire for the turn on itself was there. There
Yeah.
was like a longing for the turn
Yeah.
on. That's what I
Yeah.
wanted to be like, okay, the difference between desire and turn. There was a longing to feel turned on like that. Like it's like when like there are times in your life before, like, so this is what's interesting too, is like before you really start like exploring and committing to your own pleasure and female pleasure and doing the work, what happens is like I often find, and I had this with myself, is that women are like, oh, okay, like those, there's like one day in a blue moon, you just like happen to wake up desire like in your turn on just because, and it's probably because the conditions were like, maybe you were on vacation in Italy and you slept really well and you had hot sex with your man and you were having like a beautiful day and you did all of this shopping and you're feeling yourself, you're feeling good in your body, and you're like turned on, and then it's like fleeting, but you know what that experience is, because
Yeah.
if you're a woman, you've had it like once or twice, and you're like, there's like that desire in you that's like, wait, what was that? How did I do that? And then everything goes back to normal because life happens. And no one has taught us like you could have that every day.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And so I remember like in that moment of that day after my birthday when I woke up and was like, where'd the color go? I remember first blaming myself and assuming something was wrong with me, like I had failed somehow. And then thinking, well, maybe it's not my fault, but it's like aging, right? This is just what happens and no one tells you because no one wants to talk about getting old because it's scary and it means you're going to die and all that stuff. So I was stuck in this like purgatory of like, is it my fault? Is it not my fault? But more importantly, is this it? And
Right.
that was like the question that lingered. And that's why I want to get into like, okay, first of all, no, everyone listening, that's not it. This whole moment where you recognize that you're not feeling turned on by life anymore, that's an opportunity. That is not like the end. That is your body telling you we're done performing, we're done constricting, we're done playing small. Like this is not what you were built for, and you've been doing this for so long. Fucking stop. At least that's the message I now see my body was trying to tell me. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that what is happening really is you're out of alignment because you're
Yeah.
not turned on, and turn on is natural for the feminine.
Hmm.
It is the way of the feminine. And so when you are having those moments, you're actually in an inner war with yourself. There's a
Hmm.
part of you that's like, is this it? Is it over? And it starts to scan for evidence like, oh, it must be the aging. It must be this. It must be that. It must be, but without even knowing, could it be that I'm just turned off? Like
Yeah.
it's really that simple of a question of like, could it be that I am disconnected from my aliveness, the
Yeah.
sensational experience in my body? And
Yep.
it's the not knowing that leads to this inner war because we're so used to programming at looking at what's wrong and being like, well, it must be this and it must be that and it must be that. Never wondering, could it be that I'm turned off?
Yeah, or that it's the underlying operating system from which we've been functioning for
Yeah.
decades. Not something situational, not something with the relationship, not something with your appearance, not something with your hormones, but actually literally conditioning that's been like a computer, the operating system that's invisible, but is like the infrastructure for how your nervous system works and how you see the world. And that's been playing this role that, as you said in the beginning, has been training you out of your natural turn on for a long time, over and over and over again. Every time you have a sexual experience where you perform instead of actually being in it. Every time you say yes when you actually are like, I don't want that. Every time you overgive, every time you silence your truth, all of those things like over time, because we're trained from a very early age as females to be agreeable, to be likable, to take care of everyone else, to be humble, to not take up too much space, to not be too much too don't be too emotional, don't be too loud, don't be too proud, don't be too competitive, right? It's all this like it's all about containment and control. And so we take in those messages when we're young because we want to be loved and approved of and belong to people, but that is actually taming that very turn on that's natural to us right from the beginning. And so we don't see it. And I think in midlife, women get to a point where the body starts to speak for you and the body starts to be like, enough.
Right. It's like
That's
enough is enough.
done.
Enough is enough. Yeah. Like enough, like, you know, I mean, even going back to what you were saying, so what even the operating system, that's like what I consider like turn off. Like
Yeah.
that's like that's what I said in the beginning where it's like we were taught to turn off
Yeah.
before we were even taught to turn on.
Yeah.
So it was like even when you were little and you were having so much fun and your parents were like, stop being too much.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That was a moment of turn. That's the life force. That's when we're saying turn on. Turn on does not necessarily have to be a sexual thing, but there is that light inside of you that warms you, that flows through you, that electrifies you,
Yeah.
that it's like like when you're like talking to like a woman who feels like she's dead inside versus a woman who's like, hi, like, how are you? You know, it's like, and like little children really have that. And it's so quick to happen with little girls of like, stop doing that, turn off, whatever. And that is like those moments, it's like that's when we're taught not to prioritize our pleasure.
Yeah. And then in adolescence, it starts with slut shaming and body monitoring.
Yeah.
And you need to look this way and you need to dress this way. And you can't dress too sexy, but you shouldn't be too frumpy and you shouldn't want attention. Like there's so many fucking constraints put on females throughout life that by the time we get to midlife, we have complied with so much of it, and our nervous system, our body, which needs safety and needs sensation and needs connection, like just starts to be so hungry, so desperate for that, that it starts to shut off all the rest of the things. And the other thing I want to bring up, and I want to see if I know you're going to agree with this. The other thing I want to bring up is the way that we are taught about and the way that we experience sex in the early part of our lives, I think also plays a big role in this, right? Because everything we learn about sex is modeled after like the male sex drive, the male perspective. I mean, everything in the world is modeled after the male perspective, frankly, but specifically around this, right? So it's performance focused, it's pressure, it's fast, it's like goal oriented, it's like get aroused, do the mechanical thing, have the orgasm, done, right? And I think for women, that's never been the model that keeps us turned on and works. That's not how we work. And if you've been having that kind of experience, again, for decades, even if sometimes it's a little better, even if sometimes there's whatever, like it's another place where the body says, no, this isn't, you got away with it when you were younger because there was a novelty, because even if sexual experience that wasn't ideally created for the feminine, it was still new and fresh, and so there was still some excitement to it. But now we're like a little more discerning, and that's not going to cut it anymore either. You think that plays a big role, or is that just me?
I mean, so here's what I think. Well, it's not even what I think, it's what I know because of the world that we live in. Like I said before, women were not taught to prioritize their own pleasure. It became obsolete to us. They were taught to prioritize his arrival, his satisfaction, his experience in his body. We were taught to be responsible and available for that, to
Yeah.
perform desire rather than to actually feel it.
Yeah.
Like to monitor myself. Women were taught to monitor themselves. And that creates that experience of staying in your head. Because if I'm monitoring myself, I'm thinking, I'm in my head being like, am I doing this right? Does
Mm-hmm.
he like this? Is
Mm-hmm.
this taking too long?
Mm-hmm.
Like, while my own body was waiting unattended in the background. It's a condition of like, I'm going to abandon my body and my body's truth so I can prioritize his pleasure.
Right. Yep.
Like
Exactly.
she, she was taught that good, like it's good sex is means that he finished. And I mean, that's literally like, until I was in my early 30s, I was like, if he finished, that means I did a great job.
Yeah.
And that was my pleasure. Literally, like that was it. That's where it was like, yes,
Yeah.
which like that it was
Yeah.
absurd. Um,
Yeah.
and like you can't turn on while you're managing someone else's experience. If you're
Yeah.
thinking about and focusing out versus focusing in, you cannot actually turned like you can't let yourself turn on because like that's too much for the system. It overloads.
Yeah.
So the body can't open when it's busy performing a version of itself that isn't its truth.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And for me, I would add on that like I also performed being low maintenance and being like easygoing and being like very agreeable. So like even before, during, and after sex, I was performing a version of myself that I thought was the version that would create the least friction and the most validation and the most connection and the most intimacy, like because that's what we were taught. And in fact, all it did was create a bigger gap for me and create more turnoff that I
Yeah.
had to with them, you know, that eventually came to my door and was like, okay, now this.
But see, it's so good, even like, and this is the thing, it's like women, we don't have these conversations, but it's so important to have them because when we do have them, then it's like, okay, I can relate. I've been there. Like, that's the thing about like being in community. It's like we all, when we get together and we're really agree to be transparent about this stuff, we can see it in one another and like, oh yeah, and I had a similar experience because we are pussy owners, because the currency that runs between all of us is
Yeah.
pussy. So we are like, wait, I had that experience too, and I had that experience too. And when you are in community and you hear that, you're also like, understand the actual opportunity here and the like, wow, wait a second, this was contrast, right? Like, I realized that there is another way to show up in and out of the bedroom that actually allows for turn on, allows for my fire, allows for me to have the best experience without like being this people pleaser.
Yeah.
And like you can't get to like turn on without having that contrast of turn off. Like once you get to that place of like, ugh, this sucks ass, that's like the jump off. It's like the breaking point. It's the like basically like, you know, in AA, it's like that like the bottom.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's like I think that most women who start to follow this path, they're like they bottom out and they're like, I've done everything right. I've been agreeable forever. I've done everything perfect. I've done
Yep.
everything everyone asked me. I played by all of the rules.
Yep.
I've done all of it and I am fucking miserable. And
Yeah.
something is wrong. I don't know what it is. And instead of actually even addressing, it could be as basic as this.
Mhm.
I started to go to, well, it might be a medical issue. I
Right.
went
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
doctors,
Let's go to the
like being
doctor.
like, what's
No.
wrong with me? And like looking for like it was a while until I got onto this course. And like that's the thing that I really desire for what most women to instead of like, you know, obviously get your checkups, do all the things, but like if I could save a woman like the agony and agonizing over and maybe I have cancer, maybe this, maybe that,
Yeah.
maybe something like maybe see going down this path and find out what turning on can give you and feel the vitality back in your body and then be like, wait, maybe it wasn't any of those like made up things at all.
Yeah, exactly. Totally. Yeah. And I think that's often what happens. That's what happens with me. You start looking for answers in other places because you it's like asking a fish about the water. Like you don't see it. You've been swimming in this
Yeah.
culture that shuts us down for so long and everyone's doing it. Everyone's a part of it. Even when I started talking to women and recognizing that I wasn't the only one with this issue, it still was like, okay, well now what? Especially for like I've had a great sex drive my whole life. I've never had a problem being motivated or turned on or getting aroused. And all of a sudden I was just like, I don't care anymore. I just don't care. I'm not interested. And that was like really, really odd. Um, so let's talk a little bit about what starts to shift that. Because if you're watching or listening to this and you're like, yes, yes, that's me. I totally get that. That's how I feel. You're probably also like, okay, now how do I get out of it? How do I start to feel again? Let's talk about that a little bit.
Well, I mean, the most important thing is safety. Like a woman needs deep, like it's containment, which is like deep presence with no attachment to outcome. Whether it's your own presence or you're working with someone or your partner's presence of like, I see you, I hear you, I'm here with you, do you, and I will hold the space. Safety. A woman's body doesn't open when it's bracing, right?
Yeah.
So when there is nothing to manage, no one to perform for, there's no outcome to produce, when
Mhm.
she is allowed to slow down, when there is uncertainty allowed to be in the space, meaning like maybe there will be orgasm, maybe there won't. We're not chasing orgasm, right? We're just allowing to be what is and staying with the moment to moment experience of the sensual experience, right? It's, it's selfish, which is like, I know a lot, this is a trigger for a lot. It's like, I said, you're going to have to be selfish. Esther Perel really talks about this and does as well, where she
Yeah.
says, you've got to be selfish you've got to like, this is it, your turn on does not arrive on demand. Like
Yeah.
when I work with people, it's like, and I don't actually, what my goal isn't to turn a woman on, it's actually to provide so much containment and safety, because arousal starts to just arrive. Like
Yeah.
it's the most
It's
beautiful and
there.
amazing
Yeah.
thing. It just rises and you're like, holy fuck. Like it arrives when she stops abandoning herself long enough to
Yeah.
notice she is there. Like
Yeah.
her wholeness is there. It arrives in like the exhale, in the moment that she stops being the good girl and just starts like letting herself be real, letting herself move and experience and touch and slow down. And it's checking in more with like having the safety and the permission of being more with her body's experience versus anybody else's. This is why I'm always like, start with being your own best lover, because when you are your own best lover, it builds so much like confidence and safety in you that like when you do add someone else into the mix, then it's like, okay, I know what I like, I know what I don't like. Because a lot of times, even if you are in midlife, you've never had the experience of understanding, does this feel good, does that feel good, because we're so rushing to keep up
Yeah.
with their orgasm that we don't know. That's why we numb out, because we don't
Yes.
move as fast as them. Our
Yeah.
orgasms are like 20 minutes behind at best, which
Yeah.
that's a good thing. But like, and what I find also, and what men say as partners, is that they love this version of their partner. They're obsessed with this version of their partner because this allows them to really give their partner pleasure. And the masculine really derives, it's backwards. We were taught it's all about their pleasure. But when you flip it in your home, when you flip it in your dynamic in the bedroom, your man starts to feel like the fucking man, because he's like, look what I did to her. And he knows, look what I helped create for her. Like a lot of men, even if you watch, we have one of our earlier podcasts where we were talking to Sean even says he's like, that's the thing that really gets me, is like when I see a woman in her, like I'm the one that helped create that. That's the biggest turn on for me. That's my biggest pleasure. Like that's what really fuels them, because they're like, they leave feeling flat in the dynamic that we were describing too. They don't leave feeling
Yeah. It's
fulfilled.
not ideal for them either. It's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay. So just to reiterate a couple things, safety, absolutely important. Slowness, because the pace that we're used to
Yeah.
moving at in sexual encounters is just, it's not, it's built around male arousal and male orgasm, not female. So that's for sure. But I also want to say, uh, speaking from my own experience, two things that were so essential for me that might resonate with you. One is being around other women, being in sisterhood,
Yeah.
specifically around this work, specifically around reconnecting to our sensuality, to our bodies, releasing the shame that we've been carrying for so long that's been conditioned into us around sex and desire and our genitals and like our bodies in general. And that for me only happened in sisterhood. And I'm one of those people that's like, I've been a lone wolf most of my life, right? I've been like the weirdo. Like I don't have a million girlfriends. I would have guy friends or I would do stuff solo. I was an only child till I was 8 years old, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So for me, it was very unnatural to be like, now in midlife, I'm going to go seek out this work around pleasure and sensuality, and I'm going to do it in sisterhood. That was like the last thing I thought. It is the only thing that worked because I tried to solve this on my own and I would just get stuck in the same loop. It's like you don't know what you don't know. You need someone to help reflect back to you, to mirror what's happening, to celebrate even the little wins, so you can see the little win as an actual win and be like, oh yes, that I'm going to build on that, instead of the loop we're stuck in, which is inevitably, what's wrong with me? Why isn't this working? Why isn't it working yet? How long is this going to take? Forget it. I'll go back to baseline. So sisterhood, really big. And then this notion that I had initially, and if you're listening, you might be thinking this too, that like, okay, if I just bring some novelty in, like she's saying safety and slowness, yes, yes, yes. But to get that spark going, I need something, right? I'm going to go buy some lingerie. I'm going to take a BDSM course or whatever, all of which are good things. And I encourage you to do them. But just notice how that's still working around the male model of arousal. Is that really connecting you back to your body, to your breath, to your skin, to your sensation? You know, it's like the truth is, in all of those things we said, safety, slowness, touch, it's not about doing more. It's not about new techniques. It's not about adding stuff into the mix. It's about taking away the things that shut you off and creating like a space for desire and turn on to blossom. Because as you said, it's actually our natural state. If you could remove all the stuff, the shame and the cultural conditioning and the stress and the responsibility and the people pleasing and all that, like it would just fucking, it's like a weed. It'll just keep growing. It'll come up, you'll pull it, it'll grow again, you know? But we're so used to fixing things and problem solving and achieving, right? That we like keep adding more. No, no. Find yourself a sisterhood. We built one, by the way, for this very purpose. That's what we do inside the Sensual Sisterhood. Every week we get together. In fact, this week we were talking about pleasure and performance and what it feels like to turn on with eyes on you. That's going to do so much more for you spending time with yourself in sisterhood in this context than any other like tip or trick we could share. And that's all there is to say about that. Thanks, guys. No, but for real, like what would you add to that, right? Safety, um, slowness, sisterhood, and just like creating the conditions for your turn on to return, as opposed to like muscling your way to it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have to give yourself, it's really, I mean, safety is the number one thing. I know personally, I know from experience, I know with client, like we've been so conditioned to stay turned off. We
Yeah.
don't feel safe to turn on. The body doesn't. It's not
Yeah.
this. This part of you does not feel safe yet to turn on.
Yeah.
And you've got to get back to like giving yourself permission to be like, I'm going to learn how to feel safe in inhabiting
Yeah.
my body, because when you're turned off, it's like living in, like it's like a house with no one living in it.
Yeah.
That's what's
Yeah.
happening. And the safety factor is, I'm saying I'm creating a sense of safety, a sense of calm, a sense of peace, to be like, I can go into this house and live in it and I can enjoy it. I
Yeah.
can be in
Yeah.
this house. I can
True.
inhabit this house. So, yeah, it's like the safety is, I mean, to me is like, it's like I need to feel safe in moving and feeling, and, feeling safe to what, when you are in like with a partner and having a sensual experience, being like, can you slow down? Wait, can we take a break? Can we do like, things, using your voice, like feeling safe to use your voice to speak what is true for you, but you don't know what is true for you if you're disconnected from your body. But how do you get connected to your body? In safety.
Yeah.
Like,
And again, like I think this is where sisterhood
yeah.
is so important, because I know for me, like I tried to create that safety for myself and I couldn't get out of my own way. I couldn't stop monitoring. I couldn't stop judging. I couldn't stop criticizing. I couldn't stop being like, I'm the problem in some way. Or sometimes I'd be like, he's the problem. But neither of those was actually true. It's that I didn't actually have, it's like I didn't know what I didn't know. I didn't have the tools to like let the tension go and really like relax into my body and feel my body. And the place where that happened was in sisterhood. It's where we actually met. And so, and it happened yesterday in Turn On Circle inside the Sensual Sisterhood. Every Tuesday we gather with our premium members for Turn On Circle. And yesterday, I remember one of the women, we had her do an exercise where we were watching her, right? It was all about feeling safe being seen. And so we're watching her move sensually, and like I thought this would be kind of edgy for her, and she was like fine, and she was enjoying it. And afterwards she was like, well, I feel safe with you. Like she feels safe inside that sisterhood. She's not there yet in some other places in her life, but she's already there with herself and with her sisters, and that's how it begins. That's when you start to like peel back the layers of, again, like shame and good girl conditioning that keep you in that I'm turned off state. So come join us inside the Sensual Sisterhood. We can provide that for you, and that's where you can start to explore this and then, bring
Well,
it back.
that's the containment that I'm talking about. So
Yep.
that's what I said, the
Yep.
containment. So like safety is like twofold. It's like you actually learn how to create safety by mirroring from someone else who's created it for you. It's like when you're a baby and your parents, they provide the safety for you. It's like the containment is created in the coaching, the holding of the other, the one who is seeking to learn how to create that safety for themselves. It's created through like deep presence with no expectation. Or the thing is about when you come to sisterhood, when you come and work with us, you get to be exactly how you are. It's radical. Like you can come in a bad mood, you can come in like angry or sad or upset or hurt or whatever. That, and you've got to give yourself permission to show up exactly as you are, because we give you that permission. And because we hold the containment of like, it's totally okay, we're celebrating you exactly where you are, your body starts to come back to itself.
Yep.
Because now it's like, oh, wait, it's okay to be human in my
Yeah.
body.
Yes, yes. We are creating the conditions for you to feel safe being you, expressing whatever needs to be expressed, asking for what you want, feeling how you feel. And that just doesn't exist in a lot of places outside of the Sensual Sisterhood. But you will not only experience it there, but you will learn how to create that for other places and create your own containment in your relationships and so forth. So yeah, basically this is all a pitch for the Sisterhood. I mean, not really. It wasn't supposed to be, but kinda. But it is. It's amazing. It's like this is what changed everything for me, and I know the same thing is true for you. So it's not just like, it's just beyond what I ever could have created for myself working on it solo. Period. Full stop. We're done. Okay. Thanks very much. We'll see you inside the Sensual Sisterhood. The link's in the show notes.